But I can't read that in.
All right. Here's Jeffrey.
Well, hello, and what an honor to be here. And for those of you who are mumbling, going, he's never done this before. What's going on? Um, so I titled this Compassionate Empathy. Can one truly relate without experiencing? And this came to mind as part of a question from a personal perspective of a thing happening. And so it has been said, and there were some meetings way back when, that one of the key differences between the typical 95% of optometrists and healthcare practitioners and the other behavioral model healthcare practitioners is their level of empathy and understanding. That many people feel that in typical healthcare just focuses on the physical ailments, resulting in treating the body with some procedures or medicines, and that the behavioral models of healthcare are more broader, addressing thoughts, emotions, and actions that impact a person's health and integrating therapies, lifestyle changes, and even potentially medications as part of mind-body connection, actions, and habits, addressing the whole person. So I was looking things up, and there's looking at types of empathy, because I never really thought about types of empathy, but I was wondering. And so I found there were three types: cognitive, affective, emotional, and compassionate or somatic. Cognitive empathy being, yeah, I understand another's perspective and thoughts. The affective, emotional, sharing with another's emotional state. And then the compassionate, somatic empathy, moving from not just understanding, but to a desire to help and feeling what the other person feels. Yeah, it's okay. So I thought to myself, when I practiced, I understood that person that came in and what they complained. I understood that head trauma person saying, this is how I feel. And I understood that stroke patient saying what they felt. And I could sort of feel, that's a strange word, that person walking in with the cap and a visor and going, the lights are too bright, the lights are too bright. Okay, I hear you, I'll turn the lights down. But the question is, how much did I really do within compassionate, feeling it myself to really understand? And how much can you, if you haven't, do you need to personally experience to know or not know? So why this came up was because 8 months ago, on May 14th, to be exact, an experience brought to mind some of these questions. So as I just said, did I truly have compassion and empathy for my patients all those years? I thought I understood. Does a healthcare practitioner have to self-experience? And if the healthcare practitioner should self-experience, how can this be done without harm? And are words enough? In other words, like, oh yeah, I remember in school, here's what a cataract patient sees. Put on these glasses and it's all fuzzy. Or, oh, this is what a peripheral field loss is. Yeah, they got it blacked out. Does that really give you the sense? You get some ideas, but is it enough? So picture it. It's that morning. I had just finished shaving, and yes, I do shave. Okay. And I went to reach for the aftershave and nothing happened. And it's still a rather emotional thing. So, sorry about that. So my right hand was clenched and the right arm wasn't moving. And I'm watching in the mirror. And I'm going, wow, I'm having a stroke while I'm watching. This is sort of neat. And I'm going, but I still need to get the aftershave on.
Oh,
So I'm working really hard and I did that. And, I got through that. And I really got to get dressed because I got to get Tom's attention. And I really think I need to go to the hospital because something's not right here. So, uh, so luckily, as it says, our home is only a short 10-minute drive from the hospital. So clearly there was no need to call an ambulance because I could make it faster than them doing that. And Tom said, I don't think you're going to drive. So we were in the hospital in the ER within 20 minutes of the episode starting. And this hospital, you have to go through security to go into the hospital. To enter the ER, got to go through security. And I've been in that ER for other people and things before. So I already knew this. And I walk in because I'm walking in and I said to the security guy, he said, you need to empty your pockets. I said, I'm having a stroke. And he said, just go. So got through that very fast. And I've never experienced such fastness happening in a hospital before. But by that time, so I'm only 20 minutes into this, and my hand is already beginning to unclench. But the numbness had stayed around for 2 hours at least. And of course, if you've been in this situation or you've been with family or friends in this situation, stroke team is called and it becomes amazing. And so they said that that my face was sagging, but it wasn't. But they're the professionals. So the stroke team went out, the call, they came in. You can read it, limbs are pulled. It's like, what are you people doing? And of course, their first thing is, do you need any medication to clear up? And their answer was, no, you don't, because you're already taking heart medication and your blood pressure soared so much that it blew the blockage. Yeah, they said, so your body took care of that real well. So, but we think you're just having a TIA, but we're going to order some more tests because we don't know, but we think it's just a TIA. It's passing. The arm's still numb. You're not clenched. You're breathing, but you're going to order more stuff. So the follow-up, I saw everybody, in that sense, the physical therapist visits, the occupational therapist visits, the neurologist, the speech language therapist, the cardiologist, the internist, the social worker, the whole world descends on you. He did not. So at that point, and it was wild because the neurologist and I were having an argument. How odd. I'm saying I'm experiencing things like patients used to tell me about a head trauma. And he said, well, a head trauma is not a TIA. And I went, I don't care, but it's the same symptoms. Well, you can't be having the symptoms of a head trauma because you didn't have a head trauma. So we fought for a lot of time. The physical therapist, the OT, the speech language pathologist came in And I'm talking to them and saying about it as an optometrist dealing with behavioral model. And then, oh, did you do vision therapy? Yes. Yeah. Oh, then we don't need to really test you because you'll tell us if there's a problem. It just kept going on like that. So anyway, so the stroke team said, I think it's a TIA, but then you should do the MRI. And they went, it wasn't a TIA. You really had a stroke. So instead of worrying about which word, we just call that a cerebral vascular accident because who cares what we call it, right? So just something that I'm sure everybody knows. So there you go for key symptoms of a cerebral vascular accident. And here is my test results of two small foci of restricted diffusion in the left parietal lobe. So that's sort of an important factor here because all of the symptoms that still happen to this day are interesting, particularly when I went scouring because I'm not this, who said this earlier when I asked somebody something? I'm not a brain person. I don't remember who said that here. I'm not a brain person. I read all this stuff on the doc list and it's like, oh my God, you people, you're so deep into where is it? Marsha, if you were still there, is it cerebral? Is it cortex? Where is it? Blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, I don't really care where it is. It's what's happening. And so here, for the fun of it, are my pictures. Yeah. And so um, what? This?
The red.
Oh, it's the red.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is. So there are my little pictures of damage, basically, as they explained to me. So they're small. So if they're small, then why are they bothering me? I don't get it, but of course, shortly after this, we had an IBO meeting, and this one over here, Kavita says, okay, have you started taking? And I'm going, what? And Kavita gives me a whole list of things you need to start taking and doing. And I'm going, yeah, Kavita, yeah. Okay, whatever. I'll write it down, whatever. So so the following weeks, though, I kept having ocular migraines. Now, I won't say the ocular migraines are new to me. After I had a stent put in and coming out of doing the stent, I said in that situation, well, I'm having an ocular migraine to those people. And they went, what are you talking about? Does your head hurt? And I went, no, I'm having an ocular migraine and it's beautiful. And they're all going, they just still kept, even in that situation, the cardiology team was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, enjoy it. So in this situation, for a number of days, and even still it can happen, I get these interesting ocular migraines that are right lower quadrant with scintillating, beautiful zigzag lines and wonderful colors. And there's no macular involvement. And it lasts for about 15 to 20 minutes. It was happening regularly over the first week. It would just, yep, here we go again. Oops, you're disappearing over here, but okay, all different things. After 3 days, as it says, after the accident, I had a very fun experience. I'm like, Tom, why did these people send me a text and why are they using the wrong names? I know who it's from, and I know that's not their name. I'm looking at my phone at the, the contacts list, and I'm going, why is Dan's last name Kolowitz? His name's not Kolowitz. It's silly. I don't understand this. Well, this went on for basically the whole day. I could not recall people's names. And it was annoying, but it was funny. Reading continued to be challenging from a sustaining point of view. And I found that if I held material higher, didn't do convergence, it was okay. When I came here, the world fell apart. Overstimulation in the environment, sounds and movement not matching what I'm seeing became very significant issues, and became very disturbing. And I just had to leave the situation. Yesterday, I doubt anybody would have noticed, but while I was sitting there and watching presentations, but there's a chatter over here, a chatter over there, a chatter over there, I started to have one of those experiences. So I got up and I went to the back of the room so I could visually relate to where the sounds were coming from. And then I'm okay. But otherwise, that wasn't going to work. So there's a lot of these things that still go on. So now, in the sense, maybe I have greater now compassion and empathy. That's where this is coming in for the patients who would wear that brim. I now, when driving, and we go to the gym very early in the morning, usually around 6 to 6:30, I never knew that red brake lights could be that disturbing. Red is like one of the worst colors to have blaring in your face while driving. I actually lower the visor even when it's dark out, just to cut out glare, just like that person wearing the hat with the brim. And now I'm one of those people that sometimes drives at night with sunglasses because it's a problem, but boy, does it feel better. And then, as I say, I'll close an eye. If I close an eye, oh, that comes better. Nope, there comes Kavita again in this conversation. Well, are you doing some ocular motor activities at home? No. Yes. And I still do to this day. In fact, I was just talking to Aaron going, I don't know, maybe I want to play these games or not, on their system. So in the background of what I've been showing you so far, actually like this picture, this actually came from, we were on a ship in November, and Celebrity has these phenomenal ships with these phenomenal stages now. And so it's almost in the round. And so in your world, 180 degrees is wrapped in digital screens. This is a picture from a show, and what that does. So there's a lot of still impact with reading and reduced impacts with lighting conditions. And then driving. Low ceilings and garages like down here or anywhere can be an amazing pain. So again, lowering the visor so I actually don't see it, then I'm okay. Yeah. I don't think I would have said to a patient, just lower the visor in the car so you don't see it. Maybe that would work for you. So those are interesting. You know, that clearance sign, it's bad enough. You got all the low ceiling and the beams going across, but then that hanging thing to get in the garage, it's like, oh God, thank you. That's just so much, so helpful. So issues or environmental conditions, as I saying, they continue. So sensory overload, the red brake lights I mentioned, riding in a vehicle as a passenger. Unbelievable. Did I ever have motion sickness? No. And I don't get nauseous. I get that band that the patients talked about around my head. My head is going to explode. That band gets tighter and tighter. But if I'm a passenger and I hold on to the handle of the door, then I become more of one with the vehicle and it tamps down. So it's easier, better for me to actually drive because then I am one with the vehicle, just as with people who do have motion sickness. Extreme ocular motor in any direction can create issues. We were just recently in Barcelona and I was looking up at the cathedral there, the Gaudi Cathedral, and I was like, whoa, I don't think I should be doing an extreme because there it goes again type thing. Those extremes can do it. Reading while there's miscellaneous sound, as I mentioned earlier, or just happening, attending the theater, multiple actions, like the following, because I did film this. Oh. That hurts. Oh, sorry. Oh, good. So it's interesting when you look up left parietal lobe stroke and you start to see all these things. And it's like, oh, I'm not the only one. Yeah, that makes me feel better. Not, but it's okay. So the disrupted sensory integration, I think many of you here know what it says, the parietal lobe, the critical hub for integrating sensory information. So you get a little damage. That little bit of damage goes a long way. And a left parietal lobe makes it even apparently more fun for intermixing the movement, sound, visual responses, and create that discomfort. So how a partial lobe, as I say, I don't want to read all that. You probably caught on the overwhelming aspects of it and the energy expenditure that goes on. So there is that increase. It's getting a little better. By the way, so back to Kavita for a moment. Not that it's just she happened to be around. So I did end up going back to the neurologist who said, "You're fine. I don't need to see you." He said, "But if you want to, maybe you might consider taking Chewable B12, Neuromag. What else is it? I have to look on my phone to know what else I'm taking. Oh, my phone's over there. Omega, but I do a vegetarian. Oh, the magnesium's the Neuromag, and there's one other thing. Sorry, D3. I don't think it's with K. Um, There's one thing I'm trying to think. It's white, and I'm trying to think what it is. Sorry about that. Hold on, it's right here, so I can see very quickly. CoQ10, that's what we didn't mention. The CoQ10, the Neuromag, I do algae-based omega-3, because that's where it comes from. Don't need to have the fish to be part of it, because the fish gets it from the algae, and the B12 and the D3. And I also happen to take lecithin also. But that's because of Barry Cohen after I had the heart attack. Said, add lecithin to it. So I'm sure we all know about fast or be fast. If you experience any of this, don't sit around and waste your time. And I thank you all for your attention and enjoyment, and excuse my emotion that happens at times because I don't have a lot of control over it. And and I chose this great background because it drives me crazy to look at it.
Point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
Now that you actually know how to be a good doctor, you're going to come out of retirement?
So that's the question. So my question was about, do you have to experience these types of things? Do you have to have a head trauma, an actual bang? Do you have to have a whatever? Do you have to be strabismic to understand strabismus and relate? Do you have to have, how do you get, and can you get freely that compassionate level of empathy and not just, yeah, I get, you understand what you're doing type thing?
No,
Like,
couldn't hurt.
Samantha, you talk about, and a lot of what you talk about, I believe, is because of your own self-exploration. And therefore, you can relate that to those patients. Yeah. And it's that type of question. How much do you really need is the question. But thank you. No. But I do maintain my license. But thank you.